You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Chris, the Herons are back.
Welcome to episode number 1 of the episode number 50, episode number 98, of episode number 145 of the Battered Herons podcast.
You know who else is back? Aliens.
Right now with the whole Messi conspiracy, it's set up for him. It's tiring to hear the same garbage and people whining.
Suarez is here. That means I'm here. You're gonna have to deal with
Let
it.
it soak
And
in,
if you don't like
baby.
it, I'm gonna start fighting people, bro.
I think he deserves, to be battered.
I've said
think we
worse
might have
things
just-
on the pitch. I've said worse things on the pitch. I mean,
145, this guy. And that's it.
Not gonna lie to you, Solana, you're probably better off just not saying anything.
He said we suck without Messi.
Yeah, we suck without Messi. Like, what?
and happy 200.
We've done this 200 times, Chris.
I mean, after that introduction, I'm doing terrible. I didn't know that, but
What a disaster. This show is just a disaster. I'm not even gonna sign out.
And while you're at it, get that thumb, put it to work, like and subscribe.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Solana, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 222 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me is supposed to be Mr. Daniel Solana, but he is running just a couple seconds late. So he will be with us in just a second. But welcome, everybody. Good morning to everybody, wherever you're at. Little Cafecito with the Herons on a Tuesday morning. And we're going to be talking Supporter Shield, Diego Gomez, Leagues Cup. And I mean, since I'm here by myself for the next couple minutes or so, let me just quickly plug tonight. The first Battered MLS fan show will get started. I'm going to put that link in the chat real quick. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. Tonight we will be going live. Actually, it was originally going to be at 9 p.m. We had to change it. It's going to be right after the skills competition. We are having a few guests from across the league, from the West Coast, from Liga MX, and some people are covering that skill challenge or whatever you want to call it. So we will be going on after the skill challenge tonight, MLS, Battered MLS fans. So make sure you're there for the very first episode ever. All right. So I guess let's get talking to what we're here for. Actually, let's start with Diego Gomez. Diego Gomez was finally announced that he is going to be sold to Brighton, I believe, in the English Premier League. And it's going to be for a fee of 15 mil. They said it's going to be between 15 and 18 million dollars. That is wild what Inter Miami is currently doing, because we just started our climb as a big club, I guess you could say, in the MLS. And we are already having our big first sale of a player that we got for, I don't remember how much we got him for just recently. And let me just real quick say what's up to Jason L, Cynical Tube, and Paulo Golazo, and Celine. Good morning to everybody that's joining us early in the morning here on a Tuesday morning. And we already got a sale for $15 million on a player that we've had for, I mean, it's going to be a year coming up. But I don't think that was the biggest part of the news. Yeah, it's great that we're selling somebody, but the fact that we're not just selling him, but we get to keep him playing with our team until the winter, which is basically through the playoffs, I thought that was the biggest part of the deal. Because this midfield with Busquets, Gomez, and Redondo, to me, it could possibly be, if not is, the best midfield in the league. And the fact that we're going to be able to keep that intact for the playoff run, I think that was a huge deal. And I think that that's going to make all the difference, because when you really look at our team, you're talking top to bottom. I'll start with just the forwards. You have Robert Taylor, Suarez, and Messi as your starters. And behind them, you have Matias Rojas, Campana, and Gressel, which has played great at right wing. I think that that's amazing as far as starters and backups. And then you go to the midfield. You have a starting midfield of Gomez, Busquets, and Redondo. And behind them, you have Kremaki, you have Bright, and I'm blanking on the last, David Ruiz. I'm sure I'm missing another midfielder. I think that the fact that we have depth in the attack and in the midfield is incredible. And then fullbacks also, when you can say that you have Alba and Negri, and then on the other side, you have Weigand and Frey, because Frey right now is playing right back. Look, it's incredible what this team is looking like. It's going on. Mitch, buenos dias. And I think my partner in crime here has just arrived, Mr. Daniel Solana. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Living the dream, sir.
That's how it is, bro. It's there's nothing better than Cafecito on Tuesdays with the battered herons, man. You texted me, Cafecito, and I was like, gotta do it, bro. Gotta do it. It's been a thing for a month now, and I like all the new people that join in the chat. When we do it in the morning, we get people from across the world, which is fantastic. So excited for this morning.
And Cynical Tube, I believe Chris told me that he ran into Cynical Tube there at the game, and I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Cynical Tube. He told me that you come from Finland, and if I'm mistaking you for somebody else, I apologize, but that was pretty cool that you made it out from Finland. Tommy One Time is on the chat. What's going on? Tommy One Time has been stranded in Atlanta since Sunday. Apparently, his flights have been getting canceled left and right, and then he's complaining like a little baby because he can't go back home when he's there on vacation. Come on. And Tommy is on the plane. Oh, congratulations. Finally making it back to Ohio. And he's ready for tonight. Like I said before, we are doing our first episode of Battered MLS Fans tonight. Tommy One Time will be on there. It's going to be on right after the skills challenge or whatever the thing is. So, all right. And Cynical Tube says, I'm from Delray. Okay, so see, I blame Chris on that one. Then he said the wrong name. It wasn't Cynical Tube. And shout out to Tarusha. Good morning, guys. Good morning. All right. So yes. I don't know. That's all Chris. Blame Chris if he ends up jumping on this morning, which he's not a morning person. But if he ends up jumping on this morning, we'll get on him about that Cynical Tube because that was all him saying that you're from Finland. All right. So Solana. I started off by talking about Diego Gomez. The fact that we sold him for 15 to 18 mil. The number isn't exact at the moment. But the biggest part of that news was the fact that he's staying with us until the winter time and then moving on in January. What did you think when you heard the news?
I think it's the best case scenario, right? For all parties involved other than the team purchasing him, obviously, because I'm sure they want him now. But for Inter Miami, this is huge. You make you sell a player for a lot of money. It's your first big sale, I guess.
Yep.
And this sets the tone now for all the rest of the South American young players that are coming over here. So this now sets the tone and says, okay, Inter Miami is not here just to play bolitas in the MLS. Inter Miami is here to be a business and to be a force within the soccer world. They're going to bring young players, they're going to develop them, and they're going to sell them.
And Almada also. It's two names now within a month of each other, which is huge for us as a league. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, definitely. I was obviously focusing on Inter Miami, but definitely as a league. It's obvious now over the last couple of years with the amount of transfers that have happened out of MLS and into Europe. And not only Europe, even into Liga MX. You've had Brandon Vasquez go into Liga MX. You have Kate Cowell playing in Chivas going into Liga MX and having a great year, by the way.
Caleb Wiley.
Caleb Wiley just signed with Chelsea, which is fantastic. So again, you have all these players that are going into Europe, and you're starting to see MLS becoming that stepping stone league that people like yourself, like me, have always wanted. That's what we always thought the MLS should be, a stepping stone league for South American players to go directly into Europe. And we're starting to finally see that.
No, and that's what you want it to be. This league can continue to grow if it becomes that bridge. I've been talking about it since we started the show. If this league can become the bridge from South America to Europe, we're going to see not all of them, right? Because a lot of them are going to go straight to Europe. But we're going to see a lot of big South American names make a stop here. Instead of going to play for a River Plate or a Boca or something like that, they might come here and go over there because of, I don't know, it's life and it's just in general, because it's going to become a quicker stop. Even though I'm sure that they want to play in Copa Libertadores, which is all a big deal for South Americans also. Good morning to Eric joining us early in the morning. And Yakimakis went to Cruz Azul also. Yeah, I think this is a big deal.
That was a different scenario, though. He went out. He
left going to Liga MX is
No. I think it's a good thing if your team's gonna make money out of the deal, right? I think anytime where your team makes any money out of any deal is a positive thing. It doesn't really matter where the player goes to. And Giacomakis was a little older anyways. So, and he was more of a disgruntled thing. His wasn't like Atlanta was going to develop him and sell him. He was there. Yeah. He wasn't happy. And they had to say, he wanted to ride. So that's why, they sold him. So I wouldn't count him on there. But anyways, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Diego Gomez, the first big Inter Miami sale. It goes to show you, like I said, going back to it and focusing on Inter Miami, it goes to show that the process that Inter Miami has created since they started working on it since before Messi came. I don't know because I didn't see that, but at least since Messi came, the process of bringing the young players over from Europe, developing them, from South America, and now developing them to get them to Europe. That's been the process that I feel it's going to work. That's what you've been, clamoring for the last couple of years. And I've been on the bandwagon with you and everybody else on there because we've said it has to be the bridge from South America to Europe. We said it.
And Tommy that was on here knows better than most because Atlanta has been one of those first teams to really get that going. Look, Almiron also. Yeah, like Atlanta is I think that maybe foreigners don't think of Atlanta maybe as a big city in the United States. They automatically think New York, LA. But Atlanta not only is a big city here in the United States, but as far as a football club, Atlanta is one of the bigger clubs in the MLS.
Absolutely.
Even attendance-wise, I want to say that they're in the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And their supporter section, let me tell you, I've said it before. I've been to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. A lot of Americans chanting in Spanish. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Great fan experience in there. $2 sodas, refillable, $2 hot dogs.
I know, man. I gotta make it out there.
We should make it out there, man. We should make it out
there. I know, but they always do a weekday game though. Look, they got us on the weekday this week. This year, it's on September 18th, I believe. September 18th on a Wednesday. They killed me. I know.
It's tough to get out there on a Wednesday. It's almost impossible for us that work on a daily basis, huh?
Yeah. Look, and Kevin Sullivan is a good one. Already signed with Man City from the Union. MLS is a breeding ground for young talent at this point. That's how you grow the game in the country. That's from Mitch. Yeah, and look, and people, if you get rid of that pay to play and all that other stuff, but that's a whole nother discussion because people start talking about the fact that then you need the whole pro rel so that you could get the other clubs, the lower clubs, to invest in that. It's like a whole other discussion. But
I got a question for you on Diego Gomez because we're talking. That's the topic we're on. Because when I read it was 15 and then it could possibly go to 18 depending on some bonuses and stuff like that. What did you think about the number? Because there was a lot of talk over, I want to say the last maybe 3 weeks, right? Of Diego Gomez going to Brighton, but the talk was 10 million, 8 million, and we heard Inter Miami rejected the bid. So what do you feel about the new bid that was accepted for 15 to 18? Do you think that that's a good number for him? And were you expecting that?
I don't know if I was expecting that. Off the top of my head, I can't. Do you remember how much Almada went for?
No, not off the top of my head.
No,
I remember Almiron was maybe 20 million, something like that. But yeah, I'll look it up.
Well, I'm trying to do something here. I wasn't surprised at the number. I had heard originally 18, 20, and I was like, that's a bit much. And then I know that Atlanta was constantly asking for 25. I was like, man, these are big prices. So Mitch is saying that Almada was 20 mil, that he thinks it was 20 mil.
Almost 19.5 or 19.5 million euros is what he was sold for. Miguel Almiron is the richest transfer in the history of MLS at 24 million euros. And
24. Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of there. I'll put it this way: if it's 18 million, Inter Miami will have the third most expensive sale in MLS history, because the next person right under that is the Colombian forward who plays for Aston Villa, John Duran, which was sold for 16.6 million euros. So, I mean, this is an important sale. Inter Miami has joined the transfer market, folks. Inter Miami has shown that they can, sign players and make money off of them. And they're putting South America and the other teams in the MLS and Liga MX on notice that they're going to be a big player for some of these guys. Look, I'm excited for the Redondo sale. the Redondo sale is going to be like 20-25 million. That guy is wow. So
I don't know.
It's an exciting time.
I was looking forward to being that team that was the bridge, right? But even though I'm looking forward to it as a fan, it really sucks at the same time that this isn't the final destination, you know? That you're like, get a player, play really well. It's like, all right, good. See you tomorrow. And and then or see you sometime. And now let's hope that the next guy can. I don't know. I get it. I know that it's good for us. Jason saying, am I the only one who thinks Almada isn't worth it? I thought Almada was a baller. He's been stinky overall lately. And Celine's also saying Almada is not that good this season.
Yeah, he has not. He's not been that great this season. But again, you have to understand, we're not in the ins and outs of the Atlanta United family there, so we don't know what's going on. Obviously, there's some turmoil going on. They fired the coach. They're one of their top DPs left, and Giacomakis, Almada. So a lot of things are going on in Atlanta that probably affected a lot of the play of these players. It's not just the guy just all of a sudden stinks one year. It doesn't happen that way. So, but Hey, Danny, I hear you, man. And I want to, talking about, because you make a good point. And there's a lot of fans, especially in the United States, who get used to, their player playing on that team for a very long time. You've seen it in the NBA with players like Kobe Bryant sticking with a team for an entire career. In the MLS, I don't think it's likely yet because the league is not at that level where the players are going to want to stay forever. And I saw a tweet about Yannick Bright. And somebody saying like, oh my God, I wish Yannick Bright's going to be here for 10 years. And my response was, don't think so, man. I mean, he's obviously shown that he's a good player. And yeah, it's the stinky side of soccer where you don't really get to fall in love with a player unless he's just a mediocre guy. It's going to be on your team forever. It's the ugly part of soccer, I guess you could say, but you have to be happy that your team is among the teams making record transfer deals, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I remember I was saying it like a month ago. I was like, Yannick Bright's looking so good that we need to be happy because he might be somebody that we might have for the next half decade because Redondo and Gomez are going to be gone soon. But he's played so well that I think I might have misspoken because I said he's going to be around for the next. We have him for at least another 5 years. Whereas in Redondo and Gomez, they're probably going to leave very soon. I don't know if Bright keeps playing like this, or who knows how long he's here. But again, I hope he's here for a very long time because he's looked great. But who knows? It's going on, Kun Lee. And then shout out to Caribbean Man 14, Miami fans, greetings. Yeah, so that's transfer talk. I can't think of anything else. I saw somebody say Redondo with his dad's notoriety is going to be looked at by Real Madrid. That would be it. If you could get a player from the MLS to end up in Real Madrid or Barcelona, that would be huge. I don't know if that maybe because of his dad's connection to Real Madrid, maybe something like that would happen, but we'll see. I think
I don't want to be a spoiler, but he was already being looked at by Real Madrid and
when
also
he was in Argentina,
when he was in Argentina. But just like the Rio Aquino said, yeah, his dad, and I've spoken to his dad, and he's got a stronghold on his son's career in terms of where he's going to go. So I do not doubt it by 1 second that if there is a sale and he continues playing the way he's playing, that it could be to Real Madrid. And that would probably, awesome. Make sound waves across the world. MLS sells a player to, even though I just read, I think Barcelona just bought an MLS player.
Did they?
I think so. Yeah. I just read it last night. I'm going to look it up while you bring up the next topic or whatever else we're going to talk about. But yeah, I just read it yesterday.
I do think that's a huge deal. I think that's a huge deal. We'll see.
Mamadou Fall from the LAFC. I believe he's a defender. He was purchased by Barcelona.
There you go. Sujan Dakal. LAFC literally just sold the player to Barcelona. Look at that. All right. I'm telling you. People want to give me crap because I say MLS is going to be a top 10 league in the next 10 years. Before 2030, I think it might be a top 10 league. I'm telling you, it's happening. And it's happening right under our nose. People don't even realize that it's happening, but it's happening very slowly, but it's happening. When you start selling players like this to Europe, and all of a sudden you start getting big names coming over, even if they're a little older, I'm telling you, it's happening. All right, before we move on to the next topic, I did want to get your opinion on what the little celebration they had for Messi on Saturday, because Chris told me, and Chris isn't here, but he told me he wasn't a big fan of it because he felt like it almost felt like a retirement celebration. I didn't look at it as a retirement celebration. I just thought that it was a nice way to recognize the fact that he has the most trophies for a single player in basically ever. What did you think of that celebration? I thought it was a really nice video that they made also.
I have mixed feelings because going into the event, first of all, they said it was going to start at 7 and it started at 7:30. Just want to
I heard 7:20.
They said 7. They said everybody be in your seats by 7 for a special ceremony. That's what that's what the tweet said.
I don't blame them. Well, I didn't. Oh, there was a tweet. I didn't even know that there was a tweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, two things real quick. You're talking to people from Miami. You have to say 7 to get everybody in their seats by 7:20. That's
understood. One. I mean, I was trying to avoid the whole thing altogether by just walking in at 7:30. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. I was there with for the first time I took my son, which was awesome, and we got to sit on the side where the north stand where La Familia is, a little bit over. We weren't. My son wanted to get into he was like, my son was going like this. He wanted to get in, and I was like, easy, buddy, not yet, maybe in a couple of years. But anyways, the Messi thing. Mixed feelings. The video was badass. I have to give it to the Inter Miami. Whoever did that video, badass, cool video.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was awesome.
The kids out there with the little papers was the dumbest thing. I understand it's cool to get
each one represented it, no?
But dude, yeah, each one had a trophy, but it was literally like a paper.
Well, they can't actually bring all the trophies out.
I'm not saying you got to bring them out, but I don't know, whatever. It was just a little bit too much. And then the giving him of that plaque of 45, I don't know. It was all a little corny to me, to be honest with you.
I liked it.
I understand. I understand why they did it. And look, clearly Messi seemed to have loved it. I think it was stupid to make him walk out all the way there with his boot on and all that. Dude, really, the guy's injured. Give me a break, dude. I'm sure he just wanted to get to the game, sit in his box, not be bothered. Again, he loved it. Clearly, he did. Yeah. He was smiling, and it really does show, how much the Mas family, really does care about him, because they really go out of their way. The club does to try to do everything they can to make him feel at home, or to make him feel like, this is his team, his city. So I have to tip my hat off to the Mas brothers for doing that. But I don't know. I thought it was a little corny, the whole thing. That's just me personally.
Well, you thought it was corny. Chris thought it felt retirement-ish, so he wasn't a fan of it in that aspect. I loved everything about it, man. I thought the video was really cool. I think that and maybe they did, and I haven't seen it, but I think that it was a big fail that they haven't posted that video on social media. I haven't seen it. I don't know if you have, but outside of in stadium, I haven't seen that video anywhere.
I think I did see it. I think I did see it yesterday. If I'll look it up and I'll send it to you so you can have it. But yeah, I think I did see it. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I remember looking at it on Twitter.
I will tell you, I did think that making him walk out when I saw him walk out to midfield, I thought he wasn't wearing a boot, because it didn't make I just assumed I couldn't, and I mean,
yeah, because it was on the other foot, and you were on the other side, and it was on the other foot, so you probably couldn't see when he was walking out. I was on the side where he had it. Yeah. It was obvious, and he was limping.
Yeah, but he was limping, but I was like, okay, but he must be doing much better. He's walking all the way to midfield. He's not wearing a boot. This is a good sign. We'll have him back by August 24th, is what I was thinking, honestly. And when I watched it back later at home, the whole highlights and everything, I was like, oh shit, he was wearing a boot. And he was wearing, and the other foot was with the Gazelle.
The new Adidas shoe.
Yeah. That looked nice. Look, and shout out to Peter Brown and Uncle Ed on the Total Football. Oh my God, I always there's two podcasts that have very similar names, so I don't want to kill it. But Peter Brown and Uncle Ed, shout out to them. I was watching their show, and they were saying that they thought that he looked a little bummy. I thought he looked fresh, man. Fresh white tee. With those sneakers, I was like, hey, that's a clean look to me. That's a classic look, because sometimes you wear things. But I think that's a clean look. If you want to look back 10 years from now, and I'd be like, what the hell was I wearing? Wear a plain tee with some nice sneakers, and I promise you, you'll look back and be like, oh, okay, I wasn't looking too bad 10 years ago.
Yeah, but if you go, I mean, and again, I don't know if they're big fashionistas, and I'm not saying that I am, but you know, I've been tracking, or following Messi his whole career as a soccer fan, and watching Barcelona and seeing him in the media. And if you see, I mean, Messi has gone through his stages, but at least over the last 6 months to a year, every picture that they post of him out in Miami, he's with an oversized tee and some jeans and some nice kicks. I mean, so I'm not surprised that he's dressing. I mean, that's just his style right now, man. The guy's fresh, bro. I mean,
I'm
he's
liking
a goat,
his
bro.
style.
You can't make fun of him.
I'm a sneakerhead, and as a sneakerhead, when you're wearing a really bright or loud shoe, you try to wear a plain tee and a plain outfit to make the shoe pop. And I think it worked on Saturday. I thought it worked. And then Solana, I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna step away for a minute. Suarez, knee discomfort, is gonna miss the All-Star game. Your thoughts on that? I'll be listening. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. So Suarez's knee discomfort, and you guys can definitely comment in the comment section, if you have any other questions about this. But I think it's a lot of BS. I think obviously Suarez has been, he has the knee discomfort, and he's had it his entire, at least for the last few years of his career. But they're just coming off of a Saturday game, now a Wednesday All-Star game. I think it's just, BS and just having Suarez not have to fly over to Columbus, not have to deal with being in the air, getting the knee swollen, for him to probably play, 10 minutes or anything. Exactly. I'm with Mitch. Knee discomfort equals I need a vacation, dog. Essentially, yeah. And it's not much of a vacation, right, Mitch? It's only 1 day or 2 days, essentially, because he would have to be there today and tomorrow. But then, there's already a game on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. League Cup plays on Saturday. So, the Rio Aquino, Suarez wanted a vacation, so he used a sick leave. Look, I don't think it was yes and no. Yes and no. But again, I don't think it's anything to be concerned about other than normal, wear and tear and just rest that he needs. And Stancy's saying he was pretty much on vacation with Uruguay. He was. He only featured in a few games. But in the few games where he did feature, he was able to do something. And Mitch saying Suarez uses PTO. I wouldn't doubt it. That's what he did. But I mean, and guys, you can comment on this. With all the players, I was just mentioning that Suarez, and I don't know if you heard it. To me, it was everybody saying he's taking PTO. Yeah, I don't think it's anything more than normal wear and tear. And
you didn't see the pictures of him out on a yacht with Messi yesterday?
That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys don't want to go to an All-Star game. They've never been part of this. This is just another carnival show that they don't want to be a part of. And I get it. It sucks for the league, because for the league, they're losing out a lot. Not having two of your stars there in Messi and Suarez, I'm not going to say it's going to hurt ticket sales, but it might.
Well, I saw a promo video for the All-Star game this morning, coincidentally, on social media. And the very first player they show is Suarez. It's not Messi, because I think they figured Messi wouldn't play, but they put Suarez up there. I guess they thought, like, maybe we'll get Suarez. But I will tell you, Busquets and Alba seem like they're up for everything. Like, they're like, I'll do whatever. Like, I think it's really cool. They're really embracing, like, the American, like, effort. Let's go to Marlins games. Let's do, like, it's just, especially Busquets.
They're also definitely Busquets and Alba in terms of being the tourists, right? We're seeing them pop up all over the place. But in terms of the soccer thing, yeah, I think you're seeing them embrace it because they're the two that are more in shape and healthier. I mean, in terms of the four friends, to me, Alba has been the best one in terms of what he's given to the team and being available. He's been available mostly all the time, and he's played fantastic. And he usually plays the 90 minutes. And he factors into the game with whether it's an assist or some great play down the left-hand side, even playing great in the middle sometimes. So I'm not surprised that Alba and Busquets are embracing it and just loving it. they're going to go out there and have a good time. But I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday or not. I was with my son and I didn't get a chance to tune in, but I'm not a fan of the All-Star game. I think it's a joke. I get it. They're just trying to make money. I think the whole MLS All-Stars, Liga MX All-Stars is tired. You gotta until the
this
MLS.
Is only the third time I believe that they do it though.
Yeah, but it's not about just that. It's just the connection that the United States has with Mexico in soccer. You're playing them multiple times a year. You're just at this point you're connected to the hip with Mexico, and you don't want the MLS to fall into that with the Liga MX, because Liga MX over the years has gotten worse in terms of transferring players over to Europe. They're not at that level. Again, they're not terrible because they have more money and they don't have salary caps, but you don't want them. You don't want the MLS to fall into that same cycle that Liga MX has fallen in, where the players are not leaving because they have a lot of money. You want the players to leave and go play with the best players. So, I think they got to get scrapped the All-Star game. They're never going to do it because it's a money.
It's American, and it's American. Like that's something that you're not going to get rid of. Now, would you rather see East versus West instead of versus Liga MX?
I'd rather see Team USA versus Team World.
I don't know. That's tough because the top players are probably. Remember, once we have a good American player, we don't want to see him in the MLS. At least a lot of U.S. men's national team fans. So the U.S. team would be really bad. I see what you're saying, right? And I get that maybe in the NBA. But here, as soon as you're a good American kid, we want you out of here by 17, 18 to go play in Europe. So that would be that wouldn't be very
but the MLS fields a national team to play some friendlies sometimes. So the players are there. Not necessarily, they're not the most popular players, in the MLS, and that's what basically the All-Star game is. It's not the best players; it's the most popular ones, the names. Because if you want to be 100% honest, Suarez probably shouldn't be going, and I'm sure you're surprised with me saying that, but he shouldn't be going. I think there's 3 better forwards that are ahead of him that should be going. I think Benteke's played better. Drogba. I don't know where I got that one from. I saw a picture the other day of Drogba wearing a Montreal jersey, and it kind of brought me
stuck with you.
Yeah. So you got Benteke, you got Chicho. And I think there's more forwards, Cucho, that are more deserving than Suarez. But why did Suarez get it? Because he's Suarez and he's going to sell tickets.
So, of course, that's how all All-Star games are, like you said.
I agree, but it's just I'm tired of it. It's just I'm not a fan of the All-Star game.
Look, I'm not a huge fan of it either. I don't really watch any All-Star game anymore. When I was a kid, I think I used to be more into it, like the NBA, the MLB. I used to be into like just watching all the big names on TV at the same time. But now I'm like, I've stopped doing that like 10 years ago already, maybe even more. And I'll probably watch it just because we're probably going to end up talking about it at some point. So I'll probably watch it. But I will tell you that I do think the skills challenge is fun. I like watching that. I like. You watched it last year where they were like trying to get the accuracy of the balls in like that. I think is fun. I like watching those videos when you do the post challenges where you have to hit the top post. I think that's really fun. And I'm kind of curious. Like Alba's going to be involved in one of those. Like that, I would like to see. And I wish like they could just do that. Forget the All-Star game because nobody really cares. But like the skills competition, I'm all for because I find that to be fun.
All right, but how would you feel as a fan paying $100 to go watch some guy kick, to watch 4 guys kick a ball into like some targets?
The thing is that I'm financially challenged, so I can't imagine putting a lot of money into anything like that. But there's some people that just waste money just for the hell of it. Literally, people would pay to go watch Messi sit in a stall and poop. Like people like are obsessed with seeing these guys.
Well,
they would pay them.
They would 100%. Pay to watch him sit in a stall and poop when he, when he was when he couldn't poop, when he was whatever, not what's it called when you can't poop, but whatever. I
don't know what you're getting at, but let's move on.
Me neither, bro. Me neither. I had a point. I was gonna make it, and then
I'm just saying. Shit, so. But people are obsessed with seeing big names sometimes, and they'll pay money just to see them if they don't think that they could see them otherwise. Like look at the stadium in Hong Kong, how it filled up for a training. and it's like you're not watching them play. You're watching. So like, if you do a skills challenge, if you can get Messi to participate in a skills challenge, I think that people would pay a crazy amount of money, and I think it would also be extremely entertaining. I would love to see Messi in a skills challenge.
I would, but I wouldn't pay to go watch it. I would watch it on TV. I mean, plus another thing, the All-Star game is in Columbus. Of all play, they need to make it in a place where it's a little bit easier for all fans to get to. It's not that easy to get a flight into Columbus. I mean, I don't even know if there's any direct flights from Miami to Columbus. You probably have to stop somewhere. You definitely don't want to stop in Atlanta.
Look at this. Sujan just said it's $25 per ticket. That's not bad. If it's $25, it's not bad.
No, that's not bad. I thought it'd be a lot more considering, it's like $100 to go watch any MLS game now.
That's $25 is really good, actually. I'd probably go if I found out it was $25. I think I'd go. I think I'd go to just sit down and watch a game. Thank you, Sujan. I don't know if you're accurate on that. I think Solana might be checking, but if it was $25, I'd go. I don't think it's that bad.
Now the question is, you would go, but then you got to take your wife, you got to take your kids. Ends up being $100.
Yeah, and I got a third one on the way, so 125.
There you go, man.
Which, by the way, in 2026, I've said it already, and I'll say it again. No inside information, absolutely just straight, just BS in here. I feel pretty confident in saying that in 2026, the All-Star Game is going to be in Miami. Brand new stadium, Messi's last year. It's going to be like celebration of Messi that weekend. Watch. I kind of like they did the celebration of Jordan back in 2003 when everybody knew that he was going to retire. So All-Star Game 2026 here in Miami. Again, that's just me just spitballing. I really think that that's going to be the case. So that should be fun.
Well, here, Danny, here's why the tickets are $25. The entire stadium is general admission. So yeah, it's $25, but you better get there. It starts at 7:30. You better get there at 3:00 in the afternoon to get a good seat. If not, you're gonna be sitting in the nosebleeds for $25. No wonder.
Yeah. Well, it's okay, but you get in the building.
Yeah, but you want to see a skills challenge. You want to see it now. The All-Star Game. I have to say the tickets are going for $25 as well. Good seats. So, I guess.
There you go.
It's nuts, bro. If Messi were there, they'd be going for $300. It's crazy, dude. It's absolutely
100%. 100% that if Messi was playing, those tickets would go for a lot more. But that's what I was saying. People pay crazy money to see Messi. Like you've seen him. Could you imagine hypothetically him going to let's say Bayside? They'd shut Bayside down. Like you wouldn't be able to go to Bayside because it would be like swarms of people. Like, remember those videos with aliens walking around? Like, the aliens would show up. The crowd would show up. It would be insane. Like, he can't be anywhere because everybody's clamoring just to see him walk around. So imagine him on a pitch. But 2026, he'll probably play maybe not play in the All-Star Game. Maybe in the Skills Challenge. Maybe. He'll be there, though. If it's in Miami, he'll be there. But you got 2 years to wait because I don't see him playing in next year's All-Star Game either.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, you never know. You never know. Maybe if he's healthy, maybe it's in his contract, and maybe since he couldn't, be there because he wasn't healthy this year, he's not going. But you never know. Maybe it's in his contract with Apple that he has to make an appearance. You never know. I'd be curious because
there's nothing going on next year.
That's what I'm saying.
As far as the Copa America or anything.
Well, Club World Cup. Club World Cup is next summer. Is Inter Miami going to be invited? If Inter Miami is the club that's invited, you better believe that these guys are going to play Club World Cup instead of going to the All-Star Game. I mean, come on.
And next year's
have they announced what next year's All-Star Game is?
Yes, that's what I was just looking up. Next year's All-Star Game will be in Austin, Texas.
And do we know if it's against the Liga MX All-Stars or if it's against a European team, or they haven't announced it yet?
No, that they won't announce until much later on. Maybe
I will say the jerseys are nicer this year than last year. Last year they were. I mean, we talked about this in a prior episode. Last year they were awful. They had like that Captain America jersey.
I like it. Well, I like the ball. I actually have the ball.
The ball was nice, but the jersey was awful. But I do like this year's jersey a lot better. This year's jersey is nice.
Give me a second. I'm gonna find the ball so I can show it in case anybody doesn't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely, but and I think it's hilarious because a lot of the MLS media folks have already been to in Columbus, and they've been in the store and they've already taken pictures. And it's funny that I would say all the players in there, I think Messi still has like 6 racks where his jersey is out there with the number 10, yet he's not participating, he's not showing up. Obviously, he was named an All-Star, but it's just crazy. They should just put. There it is. And the ball is nice. The jersey was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is a size, I think, 2 or 3. I bought this for my son last year, size 3. So, but it was the size 5, the regulation ball. But just like that, I thought this was really cool. They had just partnered with Marvel. So I thought this was a really cool ball for the All-Star game. So
I agree. The ball was cool. Just I wasn't a fan of the jersey. And talking about, you heard it, Messi's jersey. He's got like 5 or 6 racks of jerseys there. He's not even playing. If I'm MLS,
but they're gonna sell out anyway.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm MLS, I'm throwing Messi's name and a number 10 on every single MLS jersey and putting it on the MLS store, and I guarantee you they'll sell out.
100%. And shout out to Swarm 747. Good afternoon for him from your side, assuming morning for you guys. Yes, 7 a.m. in the morning for us. Kind of curious where you're from, Swarm. We appreciate you joining us live from wherever you're at. I was on the Spanish show last night. I was talking to Xavier and Chris, and I was telling them, you could literally write Messi's name on something like, just put Messi or Messi right here. This would sell out. As soon as you put Messi's name, it's like a cash cow, and it's incredible. And MLS is taking full advantage because for them to have that many racks of All-Star jerseys, and they knew he wasn't going to play. We all knew he wasn't going to play, especially after Copa America. It's wild. Play talk right now, Sujan. Play talk right now. All right, so moving on. Supporter Shield. At the moment, we are finally we're 25 games in. We're 16, 5, and 4. And we are ahead in the Supporter Shield. I saw Mitch earlier say that possibly Cincinnati is kind of dropping, so that maybe we're in good shape. I'd be more worried about one of the LA teams than I am about Cincinnati as far as the Supporter Shield goes. Now, I think that one of those LA teams will probably make the final of the MLS Cup. So the Supporter Shield for me has become something that, 1, I think we can get. 2, I now want. And 3, I really want to host. If we make it to the final, I think hosting the championship game in Chase Stadium would be absolutely amazing. So that's what I want. And at the moment, we are ahead by 4 points with LA Galaxy right behind. Actually, the Galaxy have played one more game than we have.
That's
and
right.
They're still trailing us by 4 points. Yeah.
I was going to say that. Yep. Because you mentioned the 2 LA teams, scare you. Now, we have one game in hand with the Galaxy, and we're 4 points ahead of them. We're even in terms of games with Cincinnati. We're 5 points ahead of them. But LAFC has one game in hand, so they've only played 24 matches, and they're just there with 47 points. So if they were to win the next one, they would essentially, with the same amount of matches, be 3 points down. And it's going to be a really, really, really interesting last 9 games, because Inter Miami has an interesting schedule, and so do LAFC. So the last few weeks there is going to be a lot of toggling. There's a lot of teams that are within range there. I think Real Salt Lake, even with 44 points, only down 9 points, and they still have a chance. Columbus has 2 games in hand. They've got 43. So essentially, if you add 6 points to them, they're at 49. So there's a lot of teams within reach. But yeah, Inter Miami definitely has a shot. I think they have to win 7 of the last 9 games in order to do that.
And then Mitch saying, looking at the schedule, and even if we drop points to Columbus and Cincy, it's still possible. He's talking about the possibility of breaking the record of 73 points. Well, I don't know if we want to look that far ahead, but Mitch, since you want to, here we go. This is the schedule. Now, I put the what place these teams are in the Eastern Conference. So you can imagine if they're in this place in the Eastern Conference, they're probably even lower when you look at the league overall. We have 9 games left. In those 9 games, we have games against the 8th seeded team in the East, the 9th seeded team, the 10th seeded team, the 14th seeded team, and the 15th seeded team in the East. That's 5 games against lower competition that you should be able to win. Now, obviously, we lost to Atlanta, and Atlanta is not a good team, and we lost to them at home. So, obviously, it's no guarantee that you're going to win all of these games. But when you're looking at it, just looking at just where they're placed and how they've done this season, there should be 5 games here where we should win. Now, Mitch is saying could we get the 73 points, which is the record held by New England Revolution, I believe. We currently have 53 points. We have 9 games left. I mean, there's a total of 80 points that we could get. Do I think we're going to win all 9 games? I mean, I'm not going to go out there and say that. It's very difficult. But if you win 7 of those games, you end up with 74 points. You end up breaking that record. Now, looking at the last 9 games of the season, outside of Cincy and Columbus, is there any team there that you're like, I don't know if we can beat them? Because Columbus and Cincy are good teams, but everybody else, I think we should be able to handle them.
Yeah, I think everybody on that schedule, it could be a possible win, but everybody on that schedule could be a possible loss as well. I'll tell you, the games that stick out to me are that 2 p.m. game against NYCFC at Yankee Stadium, which is a lot smaller field than what the players are used to. So that's a game that you need to look at.
I'm glad that you pointed that out. I hadn't noticed that. Why are we playing a 2:00 game?
People want to see Messi, baby, and who knows? I mean, it's honestly, I have no idea, but yeah, that's a game that I want to point out to, because I just watched NYCFC play at home, and they play really good at home. The field is really weird. It is a lot smaller than a traditional field. So it's an interesting venue to play at, and the fact that you're playing at 2 p.m, I know it's September, but New York in September, it can be hit or miss. It could be hot as hell at 2 p.m, or it could be a nice day. So
in late September, it'll probably be a nice day.
I hope so. But again, that's one game I want to point to. There's the Columbus game is another one. It's away. It's going to be a tough game. The Toronto game, you're playing Toronto in October, 7:30 at night. There's a good chance it could be really cold that game. If it is, could that affect Miami? Maybe. I think the games that are definite wins, has to be away at Chicago, August 31st. That's a game that you must win. The last game at home against New England, obviously, if they need the points, it's a must win. But hopefully you don't, by that point, you either know that you're, going to be the number 1 overall seed, or you're kind of seeded where you're at, so you can rest players. But yeah, those are the biggest games in my opinion.
And looking at the Cincinnati game, and I've said it a few times already, Cincinnati is a good team, and Inter Miami is a good team. And we're going to talk about Leagues Cup in a second. But if Inter Miami or Cincinnati make it to the semifinals or final, that game on the 24th of August will probably get pushed into October. So we'll start off coming off of Leagues Cup against Chicago, which is the 14th team, going against Philadelphia, which is the 10th team, against Atlanta, which is 9th place team. All of a sudden, you could build some room there and just keep rolling, because the toughest competition there is Cincinnati and Columbus. Like I said, I think that we have a shot at the Supporter Shield. I want to go for the Supporter Shield. At this point, I think it should be the goal. And I think it's a definite possibility. Now, am I going to say that breaking the all-time record with 73 points, getting to 74, hypothetically, are we going to do that? I don't know. I don't know if we can. But honestly, watching the way that they've won 7 of the last 8, all without Messi, most of them without Suarez, some without Alba, I mean, I have no reason to think that we can't do it. But like I said, whether we break it or not, as long as we end up with the Supporter Shield at this point, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled because I would love, and again, we'd have to make it to the final, but I would love to see this team host a game for the championship and be in attendance. I think that would be amazing.
Absolutely. And just to make sure, your wife is due before late October, right? Or November. I just want to make sure, just in case. Yeah. But that's something you got to think about. Now, you're talking, you mentioned a great point. the team has won, X amount of games without Messi, without Suarez, some without Alba, some without Busquets. Can we put the when Messi doesn't play, this team doesn't win rumors?
Yes. Can I talk?
Put that to bed?
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Oh, my bad. I got ahead of you.
No. It wasn't that. I'm good with it. It's just that you said something right now, and it made me check something out, and I'm really frustrated right now. So thank you for frustrating me, Solana.
I apologize, but
you just said that about my wife being pregnant and everything. My wife is due next month. I have no problems. The baby will be here. By the time the final comes, the baby will be 3 months old, 4 months old, whatever. But I checked what day the final lands on. So if we are hosting the MLS Championship in Chase Stadium, the final lands on Saturday, December 7th, 2024. December 7th is my wedding anniversary.
Oh, you're spending your wedding anniversary at Chase Stadium. I mean, come on, Miss G. Sorry. Solana's saying it. Look, Danny, take her to a beautiful lunch. Hey, take it from me. Rusty Pelican for brunch. Beautiful view. And then you say, baby, I love you. Time to go spend some time with Messi. I mean, what Messi and Suarez, there's no better way. There's no better way. And you get her one of the new jerseys, bro. You're golden, bro. It's an Inter Miami anniversary. You're good to go, baby.
Yeah, you know what? If Inter Miami makes their first ever final on that day, I'm not missing it. I don't know. I hope she's okay with spending. I mean, luckily she's an Inter Miami fan, because if it was like another sport, because all she loves Inter Miami, and she's a Heat fan. Outside of those two, she doesn't really care about sports. So luckily we'll see. This is going to be something. Thank you. Now I'm going to have this in mind for the rest of the season. December 7th is when the final would take place here. Raul Rojas, congrats. He's expecting in September. Yeah, it would be great. We'll see. I'm gonna have to have this conversation. All right. Good. So Solana, as you were saying, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just I saw that and I was like, I have to bring that up. You were saying, can we put to bed the we can't win without Messi talk? This is a great roster. Roster. Gressel has played great when playing up in right wing. And we now have depth. If we're healthy, like I was saying right before you jumped on to start the show, we have Suarez and then Campana as a backup. Yes, Campana has disappointed us as a DP, but as a backup, I think he's a serviceable backup. I don't mind that. Robert Taylor and Matias Rojas are our two left wings. Messi and Gressel are two right wings. Our midfield with a healthy Redondo, Gomez, and Busquets, that's the best midfield in the league. Then you have Kremaki as a backup, David Ruiz as a backup, Yannick Bright as a backup. We have on our fullbacks, we have Alba and Negri. Fullback on the right, you have Wegan and you have Frey. I mean, outside of maybe center back, which we're going to load up on hopefully with Aviles, hopefully David Martinez pans out for us. Like, this team is stacked. Like, there's absolutely no reason why, if Messi, for whatever reason, can't play a few games, well, we shouldn't be expecting to still win. We've done it 7 out of the last 8 times. Tata has managed to manage this team into victory. For all you Tata haters, Tata deserves some credit because he has a lot to do with that. I'm sorry. There's no reason to think that we shouldn't be able to win the Supporters' Shield, even if Messi can't play a few times. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, I'm feeling a lot better if Messi plays. If Messi plays, I feel like we're favorites. But if he's not playing, I still think that we should expect to win. But when Messi plays, it's like, all right, this is ours.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Obviously, you want Messi healthy for the playoffs because those are the games that really, really, really matter. Not taking away from the last 9 games because obviously they matter for the Croqueta play. I know, you're super excited to get it. Again, I still hold my line.
Liv Morgan.
I agree. By the way, I didn't want to say I was going to type in the chat. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm with you 100%.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Morgan.
So. Yeah, I'm more of the fact that I would prefer the MLS Cup over the Supporters' Shield. I'm with you. At this point, you're so close. You could almost touch it.
Yeah.
I get it. And the fact that, again, Inter Miami won so many games without their 3 stars or their 2 stars, sometimes 3. kind of gives you that hope. But I also don't want you guys to, I don't want the fans to like put all their effort in the supporter shield. And I think it's still more important to get healthy, stay healthy, and remain healthy for the playoffs because, MLS Cup is a cup that I think you want to hoist at the end of the season. You don't want to end up like Cincinnati and get all, happy about winning the plate and then bow out in the playoffs. And one more thing that I wanted to address and you've talked about it a lot is with Cincinnati, they have a tendency to not win when Lucho Acosta doesn't play. So it's funny that people were saying, oh, Inter Miami need Messi and this need Messi. Before Messi left, I said 12 of 18 was realistic. They ended up with 15 of 18, 18 of 21 without Messi, essentially, 18 of 21. This front office has done an exceptional job. And I'm the first one. I should probably say an I'm sorry front office. I got to put an I'm sorry front office here because I was probably the most vocal in terms of calling them crap and not doing the right thing the first 2.5 years, 3 years of since they started. So, now it's my turn to say they finally did what I expected Jorge Mas and team to do since day one. They got young studs. They have 2 players per position other than center back. And I know that there's some questions here and, there hasn't been any news on David Martinez yet. I know he's waiting for his physical, they're doing the medical and all that.
He was in the stadium last week, so I would assume that it's a done deal.
That's what I was assuming too. But again, we still have another couple weeks for the transfer window to go and to happen. So there's a lot of names that are still yet to be rumored that are going to be tied to Inter Miami. You've had so many already tied to Inter Miami, and that we know that there was pure smoke. But there's going to be more over the next week. So the fact that Messi's not gonna play for a month, I don't think is a big deal. I'd rather him get him extremely healthy.
Anthony is saying, Danny and Solana, do you think we add another offensive weapon with it already confirmed that we're bringing in on him? Well, I haven't seen that we're bringing on Angel Di Maria. My understanding is he's staying in Benfica.
Yeah, but it was confirmed yesterday. He signed a 1-year deal to stay in Benfica.
But I don't see us bringing on anybody in the attack in the summer. Basically, because I don't see where they would fit, honestly, as weird as that may sound. Like, where would you put them? Matias Rojas and Robert Taylor are going to be jockeying for that left wing position. You have Messi and Gressel on the right wing. Unless you bring in somebody to come in and substitute for Campana, and Campana goes somewhere else in the summer. Unless that happens, I don't see us bringing anybody in the offense. I see us bringing people for the center back positions because that we need. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, before the Gomez signing and knowing that he was going to stay the last 6 months of the year, I think maybe Inter Miami would have gone out to try to get another winger because then you could slot Matias Rojas back into the midfield position if possible because he can play, those 2 roles. But with Diego Gomez staying and seeing how Taylor has been playing, as if they don't trade Taylor, I don't think there's a reason to bring in another forward other than what you said. Maybe bringing in somebody a little bit better to back up Suarez instead of Campana. Yeah. Other than that, I think your focus needs to be on 2 center backs, and then possibly, maybe you go after a forward if you can get rid of Campana. But other than that, the focus has to be on 2 center backs.
I agree. Pithy is saying center back is solid with Busi and Toto filling in. I think Busi is great when he's not defending in transition, when he's not backpedaling. When they're not playing a high line, I think Busi is great, especially when it comes to playing the ball out of the back. I mean, him and Jordi Alba were playing around with Chris Mueller back and forth. They even nutmegged him. It was, look, that's pure class back there. So
they were doing it again towards the end of the game on Saturday. There was like they were in like the injury time, and you could see these guys aren't going to attack us, and they were just passing back and forth 2 or 3 times, and then finally Busquets is like, and he kicked it somewhere else. But I mean, the class that we played with on Saturday in the back line, and again, Chicago was attacking. It wasn't like they weren't, but the class and just the tranquility that they played back there on Saturday was just a breath of fresh air.
I agree.
You weren't like clamoring whenever your defense got the ball, so it was fantastic.
No. And then I always kill Toto Aviles because I feel like out of our defensive line, I think he is the worst when it comes to getting pressured. but I think he is, outside of Busquets, the best one to play long balls, because I feel like his long ball passes, the accuracy on them, the way he leads the forwards in those transitions, I think that Toto does a great job with that. Raul Rojas is asking, any news on Ramos? Look, like I've said a million times, I love Ramos. Don't even bother. He's not coming here. The money that apparently they're offering him in other places, Inter Miami's not going to give him that much money, and I don't think that they should, honestly, either. Weston McKinney, I haven't heard anything about that. Those initial reports, and then it completely died out. So I don't think that that's happening either. And then Sojan said trade Campana. Maybe. That's the only player that I could imagine maybe moving on. I heard that Robert Taylor's working on an extension, but that's the kiss of death here in Inter Miami, because as soon as that happens, you usually get traded. So if he signs that extension, we'll see what happens. But that's the kiss of death here in Inter Miami so far with Bryce Duke and Kamal Miller and all those guys.
Inter Miami wants some more GAN, bro.
The Supporter Shield, we looked at the schedule. We think we can get it 100%. I think we should expect it at this point. At this point, I think we should expect to win the Supporter Shield and to host a final on my wedding anniversary. My wife was just here. I was trying to say it loud enough. I don't think she heard me. So
you can get a reaction.
I was trying to see if I got a reaction, but she left. She left quickly. Yes. So we expect to host on December 7th to host a championship game. Now let's finish this off with this. Leagues Cup starts on Saturday against Puebla. I saw somebody in the comments asked a question. They said, question about Leagues Cup. Does IMCF, the real Aquino, does IMCF have to beat Puebla and Tigres to advance? No. The top just two teams advance. Yes. So as long as you beat that team.
They don't have to beat any of them. They can tie both and beat them on PKs, because all games don't have overtime. They all go to PKs because there has to be a winner. So you don't have to win. You just have to tie both games and just win on PKs. You've seen it's possible. You got Drake.
I've told, and I know people hate when I say this, so I'm going to say it again. I wish that every game would go to PKs and there would be no draws. I love the drama of PKs. Even though it's nerve-wracking, I love the drama of PKs. Get rid of those draws. Give me nothing but winners and losers.
I'll give you one better than that. I would be okay with them bringing back the MLS shootout. I don't know if you remember and if you watched MLS back in the days of the MLS shootout, but I would be okay with them bringing that back instead of doing the penalty kicks. So just throwing it out.
That whole starting at the midfield and stuff.
No, but I wouldn't have to start at the midfield. But I would just say did you ever go to Copa Latina when they had it here in Miami? No. Copa Latina was a tournament, so it was awesome because once you got to 7 fouls, you would get a free kick from the top of the box with basically like a penalty, but from the top of the box. So you put the ball at the top of the semicircle on the box, and you would get a free kick from there. So it's not like a penalty; it's a little bit harder, but that would be cool if they would take those types of. I don't know, just going into penalty kicks after every game. It makes
Jason L said MLS shootout made us stand out. I feel like it made us stand out with like a red nose on our faces with like clowns, because I think we look like clowns with the MLS shootout. I wasn't a fan of that. But look, give me a winner, man. I don't like draws. Give me winners. Like in the NHL, you have a draw technically, but you still have a shootout. So like the team that didn't win the shootout gets 1 point. The team that does win the shootout gets all 3 points. I think
that's such an American invention, Brandon. I mean,
but you want a shootout? Get out of here.
Oh, I'm just saying I don't want it, but I'm okay with the tie. But I'm saying if you're gonna move away from ties, give me the shootout. Don't give me the penalties. Like, give me something fun. I don't know.
I don't know. I enjoyed Leagues Cup last year, where I knew that they had to be a winner.
Let me ask you a question. You're at the Inter Miami game. It's 7:30 start. The game ends at 9:30, 9:45, and then you got to sit through 30 minutes of penalties.
It's like 15 minutes.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. You got fans. You got fans leaving. I mean, maybe that'll keep the fans in the seats.
Of course it would.
That's one thing that I want to mention. That's one thing I wanted that we talked about, and I tweeted about it. Dude, what the hell was that? 85 minutes. Everybody was leaving. What is that, bro? Who pays for tickets and leaves 10 minutes early in a 2-1 game? Now, it was 3-1, 4-1. I understand. Now, what are you leaving for? you're gonna go sit in 30 minutes of traffic anyways. What
But
the hell are you leaving
trying to
for?
do? I think that they're trying to beat the traffic.
They're the ones that start the traffic. They are the problem. They are the problem, dude.
Yeah.
I waited until the end of the game. I chilled. I saw the players play with their kids. I went out to my car. I got out in 2 seconds, no problem. It's just I don't understand the fan, or not even a fan, a person who spends their money to go to a sporting event and then leaves that sporting event early. I don't understand that. What's the point of paying money? That's money, dude. I never understood it.
I agree with you to an extent, but I wish. Well, you know what? My circumstance is different though, right? Because we do the post games. So as soon as that final whistle, I can when they say it's 5 minutes of added time. As soon as I see it says 95, and then I see that there's a stop and play, I'm like, all right, babe, come on, let's say they're about to blow the whistle, and then we start heading out. But I'm trying to get here to start. Right.
But you're not 10 minutes before, and those guys,
no.
What are they going to do?
I calculate, he's about to blow the whistle. And then I'm like, okay, he's about to blow the whistle. Let's get a 10, 15 second head start.
Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, because it was a couple, house cleaning things. I did say, that the Inter Miami fans kind of make fun of the PA announcer a little bit too much. But I have to back him up on that. I got to go back on mine. I got to back him up. Dude, that guy, yeah. I'm sorry, but
he brings the energy.
No. But I don't like how he says the players' names, like Jordi Alba. What is that? Or Sergio Busquets. Bro, drink a coffee.
Original.
He needs he needs some cafecito with the herons. He's got a and then the whole thing Messi. Dude, I'm sorry, that's soft. Dude, we're not an and one. We're not in an and one mixtape. I don't want, you don't gotta be giving me the play-by-play. No, man, I'm sorry. I'm over that guy. Bring me.
Look, let me tell you
something. Give me a normal.
Mike Marinelli. No. Look, I like Mike Marinelli, and I wish Mike Marinelli would have never left. Right. So I'm biased when it comes to Mike Marinelli, but I try not to compare this guy to Mike Marinelli. I don't think he's doing a horrible job. Do I prefer Mike Marinelli? Yes, and I don't mean that to insult the new guy. I think he brings energy. I don't think he's bad.
I'm not insulting him. I just don't like how he does his announcement. I mean, look, there might be some folks who do like it, but I don't know, man. I've been to a lot of stadiums in my career, and just his way of doing it is just a little weird. Plus, he does the substitutes in English and then says "en el minuto 69." Either do it in English and then in Spanish, or just do it in one. But don't give me half of it in English and half of it in Spanish. You go into the Copa America games and they said cambio para Uruguay or cambio para Colombia, entra esta. There's a substitute for Colombia in the whatever minute. That's how you do it. But this guy, he just gives you a whole word scramble. I don't know, man. I'm just not used to it. Maybe I got to go to more games.
Maybe you got to go to more games. I don't know. My wife was telling me the other day that she likes his energy, and I think he brings energy. I look again, and I'll repeat. Mike Marinelli is my favorite, right? But this guy isn't that bad. A lot of people are giving him a hard time, and I don't know. I don't think he's that bad. I think he brings energy. Leagues Cup. Do you want it? Do you think we can win it? Because I have a feeling that a lot of fans are saying "Oh no, let's take the month off to rest." A couple things about that. One, I think a month off will make you'll come back against Cincinnati or Chicago and not be as fluid as you've been over the last couple of games. A month off is a long time. You got some momentum going. You want to keep playing, in my opinion. And second, I have a feeling that a lot of people are saying that they don't care about Leagues Cup or don't want Leagues Cup. I think because they don't think we can win it. And they're like, we really can't win it. Might as well take the month off. But I think that if we were to make it to the quarterfinals or semifinals, it'd be ooh, let's go. Let's win it all. And I think that that's what was happening right now. I think people have convinced themselves that it's not possible to win it. And they're like, F it, let's just take the month off since we can't win it anyway.
Isn't that Miami anyways?
Yeah.
Isn't that typical? And again, not hating on people. I'm a Heat. I have season tickets to other sports. I understand that's a very.
I just saw this. You just say it's not very professional.
No, it's not.
Who cares? It's
Spanglish.
It's an MLS game. No, man.
Come
on.
Okay. But so me wearing shorts in the press room is not professional, and I should get my credentials revoked.
Well,
I get it. This guy's getting paid. This guy's getting paid to do his job for an announcer.
They probably told him to do
it
that
the right way. I don't know.
They probably told him to do it.
But I look. If you got a job and you're getting paid to do your job, do it professionally. I don't go. I work at a bank. I don't go to my bank and be. I'm not unprofessional at my bank. I do things the way you got to do it. But whatever. Look, Mitch is on my side. In terms of the Leagues Cup, bro, it's very Miami, dude. Obviously, if they lose the first 2 games, whatever, and if they don't, if they win and move on, then people are gonna get excited. It's just the Miami way of doing things, and I agree with you. Look, I'm okay with losing both games, and resting the players and getting healthy, because I think Inter Miami will have a friendly if they do bow out early.
Yeah,
they
will
have somehow
to.
do
have
some
they
type
have
of
to.
friendly. They'll make some money.
You got to play.
Maybe they'll play Wolves
play.
or Leipzig. They're going to be down here, so they're going to get something. I obviously want to win it. You want to win everything, right? My goal would be to try to win everything. Now, do you put the best? And this is something that I've heard folks talking about. Do you put the best 11 out there? No, I think you use this as kind of like the Open Cup, and you maybe move some players around. Maybe you give Leo Afonso a start. Maybe you give some of these young players a start against Puebla. Maybe not against Tigres, but maybe against Puebla. You let the young players play a little bit.
And then you let the vets come in as subs.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm 100% against all these supporters groups all over the league. I don't know if you've seen it, but a lot of supporter groups are what's it called? They're boycotting,
protesting. Yeah.
They're boycotting the Leagues Cup. I think that's a joke, dude. If you are a supporter, you were a supporter through the bad, through the good. You got to support your team. So,
but it's because of the U.S. Open Cup.
Who cares? But that's soft. Like, dude, you're mad. That's fine. But like, what do the players have to do about it? You're there to support the players. You're not there to support the front office. You're there to support the guys that are on the field.
It's the MLS,
it's not their fault. Yeah, but it's not their fault.
Yeah, I agree. And I like it and respect it in the aspect of, you kind of feel like if they're really upset about the whole Open Cup thing, like this is the only thing they can do to kind of make a difference. This is how they show their voice. But I wonder if their team makes it to the semifinals if they're not showing up, right? Like, I'm wondering how long that they do. Do they really do this all month? I don't know.
And do all of them do it, or only because look, Inter Miami tried to do that. La Familia tried to do this once, where they tried to boycott, and people still showed up. So is it going to be a total boycott, or because that also doesn't work as well? If some people show up, then you know what I'm saying. Like,
but you know why it's easier for them not to show up for Leagues Cup, because it's not part of the season ticket package, so they don't have tickets already.
They don't have to buy because you don't have to buy.
So they're like, whatever. I'm not going. No, you just didn't buy the ticket, and I get it, right? Because you could have bought it and you chose not to. But it's a lot easier. Like when you're boycotting and it's a game that you already paid for, it's a lot harder to not go. So look, everybody knows, if you've watched the show long enough, how I feel about the Open Cup. I don't care for it. I'd rather Leagues Cup just because of the competition. I'm not into playing against minor league teams. But I respect what they're doing because they're trying to get their voice out there. And, I respect it. I'm not necessarily, like I said, a fan of the Open Cup. If they expand the rosters for the Open Cup, I'm okay with it. But, real quick, just before I forget, I'm putting in the chat the link. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that link, subscribe to the Battered MLS Fans channel. It's going to debut tonight, episode number 1, after the skills challenge is over. We're going to have Tommy One Time from Atlanta, some people from LAFC, some people from Liga MX join us. So it should be an interesting, I'm not going to say a good time, an interesting time. Always, my episode 1s are always interesting because they just a little rough at first. We get the flow going eventually. So Leagues Cup, we're winning it.
No, I don't think they're going to win it.
Well, I do love what Swarm said when he said it's coming home. I think that's hilarious. Like the cafetera, like this is where the cafetera belongs, right? In Miami.
Ooh. Speaking of, yes, it does. But speaking of, about Leagues Cup, did you see, and I don't know if it is 100% true, but I read some tweets about it. Anybody who speaks out against Leagues Cup, player, coach, will be fined $25,000. Did you see that?
No, where'd you see that?
On
Is that
Twitter,
official?
It was something that I read on Twitter. I'll send it to you. I think I reposted it, but I'll send it to you.
Stancy's asking, are you going on the Gresso podcast? I was actually on there last night, but they don't do live. So I'm assuming they'll drop it either today or tomorrow or one of these days. But yes, I was on the podcast with Gresso, and I forgot his co-host's name. It's Zena. I don't want to butcher his name.
Did you apologize or no?
Kind of. I mean, I wore the shirt already, so that's like an apology already. But I explained, why I was talking crap, and
everything's good now. It's all good now. Everything's
all good.
Easy. All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
it's all over with them.
He even answered the Backstreet Boy Insane question. So,
what did he say? Oh, I won't spoil it. Won't spoil it.
Yeah. But yeah, he said that he'll try to come on with us maybe before the year is over. And yes, Stancy, thank you. Zealand is what's the co-host's name. They're really cool. They were cool. So they'll be out, and I'll tweet it out whenever it drops. And what's the reason behind the censor? I'm not sure what.
I'm trying to figure that out, but yeah. So here it is. Luis Castillo. He tweeted out. Luis Castillo is a journalist from Mexico, and he tweeted out: "Censura en la League's Cup, $25,000, about 500,000 pesos in Mexico. Multa a cualquier integrante de los participantes que critique a la League's Cup." So I don't
Translation,
know.
what he had said already, you get fined if you talk poorly about League's Cup. That's interesting. Look, tactical manager, I talked to him every once in a blue. He said that he's not going to watch or cover the League's Cup. So a lot of people are taking the stand and it's not because they necessarily hate the League's Cup. It's because they have, and I guess to an extent they have a point probably, that they've blamed the League's Cup for the ending of the Open Cup. Yeah, maybe there's a correlation there, right? Because of the whole schedule congestion or whatnot because of League's Cup. But,
well, the Premier League is getting sued. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did not.
Because of that. Because of schedule congestion.
Well, look, and I'll bring it up real quick, and then we'll end it here. But I don't know if you caught the episode we did last night. We went over Messi's start in the league, right? And now this is all I want you to look at, okay? And for those of you that maybe haven't watched the show, you can go in, and it's we looked back at Messi's first year. This is all I want you to look at, Solana, and everybody live in the chat. And shout out to Janina and to Liberty in the UK. Shout out to you for joining us. All right, so I want you to look at the dates of these games, okay? In a span of 6 weeks, July 21st to July 25th, the second game. That's 4 days. And then August 2nd, that's a week off, okay? So he finally got a week off after those first two games. After this, August 2nd to August 6th, that's 4 days, 5 days, 4 days, 4 days, and then 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. And I just missed, I think that was 4 days.
Yeah. I remember it was 11 games in like 4 weeks. It's crazy.
Like, we can't expect the players to play every 4 days. And the thing is, it's not regular season games. My point was these are all knockout games. So they're like high intensity, like you win or go home type games. Like you have to play in them. And then right after League's Cup, then they had the Open Cup semifinal 4 days later. Like, so you win a trophy 4 days later, Open Cup semifinal. Like, it's wild. Like, there's absolutely no mystery as to why Messi broke down right after that LAFC game. He went on international duty in Argentina, and that was it for the season for us, because then he played like 3 more games, like a couple sub appearances, and like it's wild what that did. And I get it. I get why the hate for the League's Cup is there, because as fun as it was to watch every 4 days, I get how that's horrible for the players.
Yeah, I agree. And Mitch doesn't bring up a bad point where he says play League Cup every 2 years, but maybe they could do that. Maybe they could play League Cup every other year and Open Cup every other year and switch off, like 1 year Open Cup, 1 year League Cup, 1 year Open Cup. Maybe they wouldn't do that because of the money. They wouldn't do that because of the money. But I'm just saying, I think Leagues Cup is good for MLS because you're playing better teams.
That's why I like it also.
I also think Open Cup is good, but not for the MLS. It benefits more the
country as a whole. Yeah,
correct. It benefits all the other leagues. Why? Because they don't get enough money, and when these teams come, they get a lot of money, even for that one game. It's a big deal.
But what I would like is, if we're gonna stay with the Open Cup, let us bring up MLS 2 players
100%.
to play some of those first couple games.
I agree with you 100%. They need to extend the rosters. They need to allow you to play MLS Next players in the first couple games when you play, those other teams. Now, in the later rounds, obviously you're probably going to start playing your players, but it's very similar to how in the EPL you have the Carabao Cup, you have the FA Cup. It's the same thing. They play the young players, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Pep played his young players in a semifinal in one of these Carabaos or whatever as well. So you can see, that the tournaments matter, but the MLS needs to adapt to make sure that they can play all those tournaments.
For sure. All right, we've gone 20 minutes late. So any final words there, Solana?
No, man, I'm ready for MLS tonight. You're the podcast with the MLS guys tonight, so I'll be watching. I'll be commenting, especially on the LAFC guys, talking some shit about
a Galaxy guy today.
Oh, even better because they have the game in hand, so it's even better. So I will be there and I will be commenting. So I hope everybody else will be there as well commenting. But once again, it's Tuesday mornings have become a thing. So love it. Sure. Love everybody that joins us.
Yes, shout out to everybody that joined us. So if you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you in the chat, whether you're in the UK and it's in the afternoon, or you're in LA and you're just opening your eyes at like 4 or 5 in the morning, we appreciate you hanging out with us. And look, Solana, you are Janina's favorite. So shout out to them. Wow. And when I stepped away, remember I told you I'll be right back, and I stepped away for like a minute or two. I found one of those hats, those Peaky Blinder hats, yesterday in my house, and I forgot to put it on this morning. I remembered, I went to find it, and the place I left it, it was no longer there. So I don't know who moved it, but I wanted to just pop on with that. Maybe next time we have Cafecito. But yes, so again, thank you for everybody in the chat. You guys are the best part of the show. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us. And make sure to pop in, like I said, Battered MLS Fans tonight, episode 1. So make sure to join that if you haven't subscribed. And that's about it. So until the next one, have a good one.
See you.